Then after that, you've got this, let's not forget, the CBDCs, central banking digital, they say currencies, I say coupons. And the reason I say coupons is because it's not cash. They can turn it on and off. They can program it so you can only use it for certain things. It functions like a food voucher. So these CBDCs, when the financial system, under the strain it's under right now, when it collapses or we sink into some severe depression, I believe we're either in it or about to go into it, they're going to say that fiat currency, the money, is no longer the way forward, because they've been printing too much of it to keep us in lockdown. They were giving us here in the UK free handouts of cash.
Yeah.
They call it the furlough system, paying people to stay at home. To afford that, they were just simply printing money. They call it quantitative easing. They've just been printing more money than you can ever imagine. Now, that's unsustainable. Is when or if the financial system collapses. It actually collapsed in 2008. It's on life support right now. And the money printing has only led to it being sort of going further into its grave. When I think this whole thing, this house of cards comes crashing down, they are going to seek to implement CBDC, central banking digital coupons, over all of us that are linked to a digital identity, so that we cannot buy or sell without going through this digital identity. And the way that we currently pay electronically on our phones, instead of going through Visa or MasterCard, we're going to have an account, as they've told us already, by the way, directly with the central bank. Now, for that to work, it has to be tied, of course, to our identities. And they're going to merge all of our records together. So health, criminal, and any other records, financial, insurance, social credit, all of it merged on one system, so that when we buy and sell, they can determine whether, for example, we've met our carbon targets for that day. If I had, for example, I don't know, a beef burger for lunch, I can't buy a steak for dinner because I've used up too many carbon credits for that day. So the coupons, the CBDCs that I'm trying to use to buy the steak simply won't work. Like a voucher, right? They simply won't work. I can only buy certain things. So by the time dinner time comes, their view would be I have to eat bugs because I've had a burger for lunch. Eventually, they could phase out meat altogether.
And that knowing the time, but now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Romans chapter 13, verse 11. Shalom. I want to start by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Achakodash. Double honor to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, it's your brother Aharon coming back at you with a quick lesson, and Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting onto the elect. All right, and I'm going to title this, 209 countries have been connected to the ... Okay, and we're going to go into a few things here, all right? And just as we started off with the book of Romans, the 13th chapter, the 11th verse, all right, putting the emphasis on how close we are to the end, okay? Because all these things that we're seeing is all leading to the one last major prophecy before the Third World War, okay? Now, we're seeing how these countries around the world are moving, all right? The major players in end-time prophecy, all right, that will lead to the destruction of America, Babylon the Great, all right, Russia, okay, Iran, Israel, okay, Great Britain, and so on and so forth, right, China, all right, they'll get into the fray, okay, eventually, but right now, the focus is more on this whole beef between so-called Iran and so-called Israel, okay, the Israelis, all right, not the Israelites, the Israelis, okay, and that's all, again, that's another sign, right? As Yahushua said, wars and rumors of wars. Okay, so that's another sign. So as much as that is going on, we're also looking on the other side to see, okay, well, that's cooking on this side, then what is the Lord cooking on the other side, right? And we clearly see that the Lord is setting up the stage, or at least the global stage, for the fulfillment of the last one major prophecy left, which is the mandatory implementation of the MOTB. Okay, and as is written in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, it talks about, and he causeth all. Okay, the causeth, all right, is going into the Greek word poeo, which means to fashion or to construct. Okay, so we're basically in that time, all right, and all these daily news of the economy or the advancements of technology, or the just the issues that are going on that eventually they will have a solution for. Okay, as the motto goes, Ordo ab Chao, right? We're seeing these things and we're looking at it and we're saying, yeah, this is it. All right, this is definitely it. All right, but again, it's all biblical prophecy being fulfilled. Okay, let's read this real quick. It says, today, we uncovered the intricate web of banks that are now aligning with the QFC system. Okay, we're gonna go into what that QFC stands for. All right, which is something that we already know. Okay, otherwise known as the CBDC. Okay, but it is another fanciful way of saying it, right? That's what these devils do. Okay, they bring up the same things, just repackaged, and then they throw it in your face, and then people start clapping for it. All right, it says the QFC, or Quantum Financial System, has been, right, Quantum Financial System. Okay, that's what QFC stands for. Quantum Financial System. Okay, has been the subject of much speculation, whispers in dimly lit rooms, and late-night conspiracy theory forums. Some say it's the future, while others claim it's just another fanciful myth. But what if I told you that 97 of the top 100 central banks are being covertly, okay, not overtly, meaning everyone is out for everyone to know and see and witness, but covertly, meaning only the elect, all right, or those who are paying attention, all right, can see these things, right? Because though it's happening covertly, it's also happening in the open, all right? It's being hidden in plain sight, if you will, all right? So it says being covertly connected to this system, right? So as clearly as we can see this, you think of the opposite for those who can't see it. It's like, you know, it's not even, it doesn't even exist to them. They don't even know that this thing is even going on, right? That there's such a huge, all right, conspiracy that's going to basically strip them away from all their what they believe to think belongs to them. Okay, their so-called belongings and property and so on and so forth. All that stuff is about to be taken away from you. Okay, remember what they said is you will own nothing and you'll be happy. Okay. These devils. It says the world's central banks have long been seen as the puppeteers of the global economy, shaping the fate of nations with their decisions. Their influence is undeniable. And who's behind all that? All right, who owns or who created the concept of central banks? Okay, when you follow the money, you know who has that power, who controls, all right, the outcomes of all these events that have been happening all around the world for years, for centuries, man. Okay, the same man known in the scriptures as the wicked, the man of sin. All right, Esau, Edom. All right, and they're the same ones who have power today. And how do you know who has the power? The people that nobody could criticize. Okay, the people who are extremely protected under all circumstances, even when they're doing the most wickedest, all right, acts upon the face of the earth. There's some way, somehow they're protected. Their image is protected. Okay, later part of last year, all right, we witnessed some very strange things happening in New York City, where you had some arrests, and underneath some tunnels somewhere, you had all these Jays, all right, popping out of the woods and all kinds of shit. Had this nasty mattress and all that, right? And some of them were being arrested and being sent into cop cars. And what happened? We never heard anything else after that. It's like it just died away. You see, where's the follow-up? What happened with this? What happened? What's the investigation? Like what was actually going on down in them tunnels? Like what happened? See, because it's them. They have that ability to hide all these things, so-called. Even when it's put out in the open, people don't even really pay attention to it. And that's all the vibration. See, it's almost like speaking against the king and getting executed for it. You know, when you speak against these people on this earth, everyone comes against you. Oh, you're a hater. Oh, you're anti this, and oh my goodness, look what they did to Kyrie. All right, a public execution because he criticized the king of the earth. All right, as it stands now, as is written in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Okay, he covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not where and who is he? All right, and that's Esau, Edom for you. All right, starting with the house of Amalek. All right, it says their influence is undeniable, right? But what happens when these behemoths of finance join forces with an emergent, arguably enigmatic technological powerhouse like the QFS? It says, but first, let's roll back a bit. For those of you who've been living under a rock, or perhaps wisely distancing yourself from the maddening world of global finance and its shady undertakings, the QFC plus RTGS, that's another one, is a new kid on the block. It stands for Quantum Financial Systems and Real-Time Gross Settlement. It's very interesting how Esau uses these terms. Gross settlement. Very interesting. It says in layman's terms, it's a sophisticated financial network ensuring instantaneous money transfers without the usual delays. Very interesting. You know what else can do the same exact thing? Something known as the central bank digital currency. Okay, now what is a central bank digital currency? Let's find out. Okay, it says a central bank digital currency, or CBDC, all right, also called digital fiat currency or digital based money. So when you hear these terms being used on different platforms, they mean the same thing. Okay, CBDC or central bank digital currency or digital fiat currency, okay, or digital based money, or now we know QFS and the RTGS, right? QFS standing for Quantum Financial Systems or System, okay, and then the RTGS stands for Real-Time Gross Settlement, okay. So it says, continuing back in what the CBDC is a digital currency issued by a central bank rather than a commercial bank. Interesting. So everything is being centralized. When money becomes centralized, like Mayor Amschel Bauer said, all right, give me power over the money and I care not who makes the laws. Okay, because once you have power over the money, you have power over you control the directions in which the world moves. All right, known as the energy, the currents, the currency. Okay, so now you direct where the energy is going. All right, well, I want this to happen here. I back it up with some money. Well, I want this place to, okay, well, take the money out. And then now they're going to sink. And then now you can come in and take your, that's how Esau moves, man. That's why central banks are created, is to bankrupt countries, to have control over these countries, right? The moment America allowed the central banks to establish themselves here in this country, that was the end of America. That was when you start to see, right, America being in debt to a family-owned business known as a central bank. Okay, and all around the world, that's what they've done. Okay, and who suffers for it? The people of the lands in which these banks are located and around the world. As you can see them pushing for this digitalized central bank. And this is going to be global. Okay. So continuing, it says, it is also a liability of the central bank and denominated in the sovereign currency, as is the case with physical banknotes and coins. The two primary categories of CBDCs are retail and wholesale. And it's very interesting because those two strictly have to do with buying and selling, as is written in the biblical prophecy by the Apostle John in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay, going into what? The MOTB. All right, it says retail CBDCs are designed for households and businesses. Ooh, households and businesses. Okay. It's like it. All right, households and businesses to make payments for everyday transactions. Ooh. Whereas wholesale CBDCs are designed for financial institutions and operate similarly to central bank reserves. So the CBDC is important because it's the communication between corporate and the private. Okay, and in the sense of actually corporate, private, and the people. If you look at it, right, the PPP, the private partnership. Okay, so the public represents the people, and the private represents the corporations, the technocrats. Okay, those who run the system, so to speak. Okay, and when they call it a partnership, is really just you being part of their system. All right, partnered with their system, hence having the MOTB. All right, so continuing, it says, where we at? Right, there you go. It says the retail CBDCs can be distributed through various models. In the intermediated model, the central bank issues the CBDC and manages core infrastructures, while financial intermediaries offer customer services. The ECB and the Federal Reserve have proposed intermediated CBDCs. Alternatively, the central bank could either provide the full service or delegate responsibilities further. All right, and that's why you've seen a lot of these banks, all right, branches closing, because they're being, the central bank is starting to delegate. All right, they're going to consolidate and then they'll delegate. Okay, and that's when you're going to see the squeeze upon the people, where that's going to force compliance. Okay, that will force compliance. Like what's this guy, Larry Fink, that devil. Okay, what he said, over there at BlackRock, all they're interested in doing is forcing change of behavior. Okay, and they incentivize it where people who work at BlackRock who don't hit their quota of negatively influencing the minds of Americans and around the world to influence the change of the behavior that they want. They don't get their so-called bonuses. Okay, so they incentivize, all right, doing the biddings. Okay, which is all going to Esau being who he is, the man of sin. Okay. Anyway, so let's go back to the article. All right, it says, for those of you, we read that already. It says, why is this significant, you ask? Well, imagine the world where money flows without barriers, without time lapses, without the invisible hands manipulating the scene behind thick velvet curtains. Right? In other words, the world is a stage. All right, you have puppets and you have puppet masters. Okay, that's what happens behind the curtains. All right, and then once the curtains are peeled back, there's a performance on the stage. Okay, it says a world where every transaction is transparent. Right, and who is it going to be transparent to? Those who set up the foundation, which is the central bankers. Okay, Klaus Schwab already came out and said it. Okay, so this is the promise of the QFS. I keep saying QFC. Yeah. All right. It says our inside source, deep within military intelligence circles, identity classified for obvious reasons, has dropped a piece of information that might just shake the very foundations of the global economy. And that piece of information is 97 of the top 100 central banks are currently under transformation to become fully operational under the Qfs+Rtgs system. That's not all. The remaining 82 smaller central banks are gearing up for this transition as well. See? So it seems like the whole world is going to the same direction, ain't it? All right. It says Qfs+Rtgs list of banks that are connected to the QFS system or are being connected. You got the Royal Bank of Zimbabwe, which is Africa, Bank of Japan, People's Bank of China, the Deutsche Bundesbank, okay, Bank of France, Bank of Italy, Swiss National Bank, Bank of Spain, Central Bank of Brazil, Bank of England, Reserve Bank of India, European Central Bank, Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority View, Total Assets Central Bank, Central Bank of China, Bank of Korea, North Korea, Netherlands, right? Let's see, Luxembourg, Singapore, Belgium, Mexico, Portugal, all right, Austria, Thailand, Indonesia, Argentina, Czech Republic, Lebanon, Okay, let's see what we got. Turkey, Australia, Poland, all right, Israel, Greece, Ireland, Malaysia, United Arab Emirates, okay, Canada, Iraq, Philippines, Nigeria, Peru, Norges, I wonder where that is. It says Denmark, okay, Qatar, Qatar, this I can't even pronounce, Slovakia, Colombia, South Africa, Egypt, Chile, Uzbekistan, Hungary, all right, and it goes on and on and on and on. Bangladesh, right? So when the scripture says that he causeth all, listen to this, all right? Bank al-Maghrib, okay, that's in Africa. Okay, Kuwait, Serbia, Ukraine, Macau, all right, Macau, that's all the way in Asia somewhere. Angola, it's Africa. Okay, Bulgaria, Lithuania. Okay, all these, Croatia, Guatemala, Latvia, Cyprus, Dominican Republic. All right, you Simeonites out there. All right, Oman, Bolivia, Slovenia, Uruguay, New Zealand, Myanmar, Azerbaijan. All right, Belarus. Okay, Malta, Sri Lanka, Finland, Estonia. So if you live in any of these lands, all right, just understand that you're going to also go through the hour of temptation with the MOTB. Now, if you're in Sweden, then you don't have to worry about it, okay, because you most likely already got the sea hip, and you're an Edomite, so you don't have to worry about it. All right, but these are the nations, these are the countries, I should say, all right, where it's predominantly Jake. All right, you might want to take heed to what you're hearing. Okay, Costa Rica, all right, Estonia, Finland, Nepal, Trinidad and Tobago, Kenya, Venezuela, Afghanistan, Paraguay, Bosnia and Herzegovina, all right, Bahrain, Iceland, El Salvador, Mongolia, Mauritius, Zambia, Jamaica, Uganda, all right, Nicaragua, Albania, Macedonia, okay, Georgia, all right, Brunei, Jerusalem, okay, damn, bro. And they got an alphabetical order too. They got a whole bunch: Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, Angola, Argentina, Armenia, Aruba, Australia. Damn, I can't. There's a whole list, all right, from A all the way to Z, Zambia and Zimbabwe. Okay, it says there are a total of 179 central banks listed by the BIS, with about 80 more when counting regional monetary authorities among the 209 countries. All these are being connected to, okay, all these banks that we mentioned are being connected to the what is called QFS, which is Quantum Financial System, otherwise known as the Central Bank Digital Currency. Okay, so now you see that these banks, all right, under the influence of the central banks, which controls all banks really, all right, is pushing for the fulfillment of the MOTB. Okay, how do we know? Because it has to do with buying and selling. All right, it says the book of Revelation chapter 13, start at 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great. Okay, and again, that word causeth meaning what? Poeo, which means to fashion, to construct, okay, to set something up, okay, for something else down the line. Okay, so he causeth all, everyone, both small and great, right, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive. That word receive in the Greek is didomai, which means to give way for something to be administered onto someone. Okay, to receive. So they're creating the perfect storm. All right, and then they'll come up with the perfect solution for that storm after the destruction of it. Right, so they create the storm, comes and blows your whole shit up, and then they come in and say, oh, look, we're gonna have to clean up this mess here. We'll help you out. Okay, and then the help comes in and it's like, damn, I wish you guys never came to help me. And they come in with all these draconian measures in the name of helping you. Okay, keeping you safe. To receive a charagma, the word mark there in the Greek is charagma, which means a cutting or an incision. All right, specifically an incision. Okay, an incision of what? Of what is known as the small grain of rice, which very soon it will come up to the Supreme Court and it will be ruled on. All right, the elder Apostle Tahar was doing a video, I believe it was yesterday or today. All right, going into that. All right, Chief Justice Roberts, okay, back in I believe 2005 by back then Senator Biden, I was pressing him, letting him know that, yo, listen, before your tenure is over, you will rule on whether it's constitutional or I guess legal, okay, to put a trackable, implantable device under the skins of Americans, or American citizens, I should say. Okay, citizens. All right. It says to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, so that's the condition. All right, that's the condition. That's the state in which you'll be in. Everyone will be in. Right, the hour of temptation. Because without this, right, it says, and that no man might buy or sell. So the system is being put out there so that you end up receiving this charagma, otherwise known as CHIP, otherwise known as RFID, micro CHIP, otherwise known as MOTB. Okay, to receive that MOTB in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. You cannot partake in this new digital infrastructure that's being set up around the world. Okay, save he that had the mark. So if you in any of these countries I mentioned, you're going to be going through the same exact thing. All right, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Chai, psi, stigma. Okay, the chai, the psi, and the stigma in the Greek. Okay, so his number is that 666. That's why when you look at their symbols, okay, their verbiage, their plans, a lot of things that they do that's leading to the MOTB always has to do with the vibration of the number 6. Okay, whether it's the WEF, which is known as World Economic Forum, the world, the O in the world, the O and the first O in the economic, all right, and the O in the forum, all right. When you look at the design of it, it looks like 66, all right, 666. Okay, and there's many more symbols that these so-called elites and insiders use, okay, to show or to pledge their allegiance to their number, okay, which is 6 or 666. Okay, so hey man, there you have it. All right, all these countries, all right, all of a sudden, all of them quickly, all right, being a part or connected to this new digital plan or digital infrastructure. Okay, so it's not going to take long. All right, now that all these countries are on it, they just have to collapse this old system and bring in the new, and it's going to happen quickly. Okay, it's going to happen quickly, man. All right, but yeah, I'm going to leave it off there. Lowell, and you were edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash, the water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, and until next time, Shalom.